Hey everybody, Dave here, and thanks so much for joining me for another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make my lip-smacking venison jerky. I'm going to take you from start to finish, and we're going to do it up in the Ugly Drum Smoker, so stick around. Alright, what I have here is just a cheap aluminum pan from the dollar store, and I've got almost 3 pounds of venison. What I've done is when I prep the deer, I cut into strips for doing jerky, and I labeled it in the bag as such, and that's what they look like. I try and get most of the fat off of it, any sinew. There's a couple of pieces on here, but I don't worry about that. But that's what it looks like right there. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to add the seasoning, and we're going to let it marinate. While it's marinating, I am going to go start up the smoker. The Ugly Drum Smoker I built, and if you're not haven't seen that video on that, check the description below, and I'll have it listed there for you so you can build your own. So basically what we're going to be doing is adding these ingredients. Now I don't measure these ingredients. I kind of just eye it, but you can estimate just about how much each is. So basically we start off with soy sauce, okay? And this is just a cheap brand, alright? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 20 shots of that. This is 3 pounds of meat. Okay, I'll put that aside. Next is Lee & Perrings Worcestershire sauce. So let's add that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do 8 of those. And now we want to add garlic salt, or rather garlic powder. Alright, so this is, I like it garlicky, so I'm just going to cover the meat with that. Next is some paprika. So we give that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shakes. Now liquid smoke. Okay, and this is already smelling delicious. I wish you could smell it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's give it 12 dashes of that. And some onion powder. And just cover that as well. Alright. And then some brown sugar. And we'll just pop that in here. I'd say a good handful. Maybe a little more. 1.5 handfuls. How's that? Alright. Now salt. You want to cover it, you want a liberal amount of salt on this. So I'm going to cover it well with salt. Okay. And then black pepper. I am going to give that a good covering. Just light, fairly light, but decent amount of black pepper. The last thing I add to this is #1 curing salt. And this, you just have to follow instruction with it. That's why I weighed the meat. And to weigh it, I just used my postal scale like this. I got this on eBay for, I think it was $3, brand new. So you can check that out. That comes in super handy for weighing my meat and stuff. So now with this curing salt, we're going to put in about 3/4 of a tablespoon, or teaspoon, sorry. Yeah. So right about like that. And I'm just going to sprinkle that on here. The curing salt does a couple of things. It has nitrates in it, and so it keeps the meat fresh when you're cold smoking, like I do jerky. What I'm doing is, this is going to be smoked at about 120, 140 degrees, and so what happens is that's a prime area, like 90 to 140 is the prime area over time where bacteria can grow in your meat, and you won't even know it. You can get sick from it. So I always add a little bit of the curing salt in proportion to the meat, as it says on the label, and it also gives you that rich pink color as well. So it does a couple of things. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more ingredient. And that is apple juice. And put a little bit on here. Just about a cup. Now it's time to get dirty. I'm going to mix this all in here. This helps that curing salt to get in everything as well. You want it mixed on all the meat. Okay? And boy, I mean, that liquid smoke and all that flavoring is popping. I wish this was smell-o-vision so you could smell it, because it is excellent. Okay, now I am just going to let this marinate like this. I am not going to put it in the fridge because I am going to jump. The fridge actually has a lot more meat, other meat in it, so I don't really have the room. But I'm just going to let that set. It's quite cold. I just took it out, and I am going to go outside and start the grill. And then by then I'll be able to put this on the grill racks and get things ready. So that should only take me a minute. Okay, so let me show you what I've done here. I've started over here in this corner and I've laid in some lump charcoal. I've gone around the shape of a U to here. And I've left a space in the middle deliberately. Then what I did is in my chimney starter, I got some coals going and made them so they were nice and white hot. And then I dumped them in this corner right here. What that's going to do, and I made sure with a stick, I pushed them over to this way so that they weren't touching this side. Now what I'm going to do is as this goes on, it's going to burn slowly like a cigar all the way around, continuing to ignite everything, sort of like a domino effect. Alright, what that's going to do is give me a lower temperature to smoke with, okay, but it's also going to prolong the burn. If I would just dump everything in the middle for like I do a hot smoke, then what's going to happen is you're going to get intense heat, 275 degrees, and it's going to cook the jerky. I just want to smoke the jerky and sort of dry it out. So that's why I do it this way. Okay, here's what our venison looks like. I've kneaded this around a couple of times just to make sure it's got a coating on all the sides. And now what I'm going to do, I brush down these grills and I'm just going to lay them out on the grills. But before I do that, I'm going to add a little bit, some wood chips down there to give it some smoke. I don't just want heat. And one of the best ways to get that smoke is just find some chips. You can buy them at the store, or I just tend to use mine. Sometimes I'll use oak, and people might think that's weird, but it gives it a decent flavor. It gives it a rich flavor. Or applewood or something else along that line. You can soak it and it will last longer, but I usually just find some smaller chips, toss them on, and again, as it goes around, it just keeps burning, giving more smoke, more smoke. It doesn't just burn it all up in one time. So as long as I'm doing it in a U, I can throw some dry wood on there to get the smoke. So let me do that, and then I'll show you just how I lay these babies out on the grill. So now I got some wood on there, just a little bit, and I put it all the way around, as you can see. A lot of it is still wet yet from the heavy rain we had yesterday, so it's not going to really matter. And once I shut the draft down, that flame will go away. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the grill over here and put the meat on it so I don't get smoke in my eyes, and then we'll put it back on. So you want to do is place them on the grill. You want them uniform and you don't want them touching. Okay? Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to close this lid up. And that fire will drop right off. I've got everything closed down here. One of the things to consider when you're using a smoker like this is the outdoor temperature is also going to have a relative effect on how long it takes for the meat to cook, the temperature of the drum, a lot of different variables. So that's why you want to keep an eye on it for most of the time. Mostly I can just monitor the temperature gauge, and that tells me what's going on inside. But it's okay to check the lid once in a while, but just not too often, so that you let all the heat out. One thing I forgot is I like to add a little bit extra pepper on these. So I have two racks here, and one's going to be really peppery hot, and the other one not so much. Temperature right now is about 220 degrees. And I'd like to just keep it there. Hopefully I'd like to bring it down a little more, but that should be okay. As long as I keep an eye on the meat so it doesn't cook it. You know, I want it to dry out, like I said. Okay guys, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the temperature's down to 125 now. It's been running up about 175 degrees for most of this cook time, and it's been about 4 hours. So let's take a look at the meat. As you can see, it's done just about right. It's dried right through, but it's not too brittle. That was good. Excellent. Wow, that got some flavor to it. Awesome. So guys, thanks so much for joining me for another one. I really appreciate you taking time to spend time watching our channel and our videos, and we hope the content we're giving to you is something you really like. And so do me a favor and put a comment down below if this is something that you really like, and maybe give it a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Another thing is, as always, we want to give you the opportunity to download our books. They're totally free, and they all point you to God. You know, the goodness of everything we have is from God, and whether we realize it or not, He is longing to have a relationship with us. And if you're not sure how to go about getting that relationship started, then I'd encourage you to check out my books in the description below. They don't require any email or any other information. You just click on them and read them. And so they're yours free for spending time with us and taking a time out of your busy day to support our channel. Guys, thank you so much. As always, make sure you spend some time out there in creation, and make sure you do it with the Creator. Until next time, thanks for watching, and God bless.